The 2026 Chevrolet Corvette might be one of the most exciting performance cars on sale right now. But there's something most reviews don't talk about until it's too late. Because once the excitement wears off, a lot of owners start noticing the same issues: visibility, daily comfort, repair costs, and the fact that this car attracts attention everywhere, even when you don't want it to. And if you're cross-shopping this against a Porsche, a Nissan Z, a Mustang Dark Horse, or even a used exotic, there are a few things you seriously need to know before signing the papers. The reason this review matters is because the Corvette has changed. This isn't the old-school, cheap American sports car anymore. The 2026 model is faster, sharper, more premium, and honestly, more intimidating than previous generations. But with that evolution comes a different ownership experience. Most buyers aren't taking this thing to the racetrack every weekend. They're commuting in it, sitting in traffic, paying insurance, hitting potholes, trying to Costco without scraping the front bumper. And that's where the real story starts. Because on paper, the Corvette looks unbeatable. But real-world ownership, that's where people either fall in love with it or quietly regret buying it. The biggest surprise, it doesn't feel like a normal Chevrolet. The first thing that surprises most people is how exotic this car feels. The seating position is low, extremely low. Getting in and out every day gets old faster than most buyers expect, especially if you're over 40, have back issues, or simply use the car often. In visibility, honestly, not great. The rear visibility is limited, the pillars are thick, and parking this thing in tight American parking lots can feel stressful at first. Most reviews talk about horsepower and acceleration, but daily drivability is where the Corvette becomes a different conversation. Now, to be fair, the 2026 Corvette is easier to live with than many European exotics. The front lift system helps a lot. The cameras are good. The cabin technology is modern enough. But what surprised me is how much mental attention this car requires every single time you drive it. You don't just casually hop into a Corvette and disappear into traffic. Performance is insane, almost too insane for public roads. Here's the truth most owners eventually realize. The Corvette is so capable now that you almost never use its full potential on normal roads. Acceleration is violent, grip levels are ridiculous, and the handling is so sharp that the car constantly feels like it's waiting for you to push harder. That sounds amazing at first, but after a few months, some owners start asking themselves an interesting question. Am I paying for performance I'll never actually use? Because in regular American traffic, the Corvette often feels caged. And what surprised me most wasn't the speed, but how calm and planted the car feels at highway speeds. It doesn't feel chaotic, it feels expensive. This is where Chevrolet deserves credit. The 2026 Corvette finally has the maturity that older Corvettes sometimes lacked. The suspension tuning is more refined, cabin quality is better, and highway cruising is genuinely comfortable. But there's also a downside. The faster and more capable this car becomes, the more expensive mistakes become too. The ownership costs most reviews don't talk about. This is the section a lot of YouTube reviews skip. Yes, the Corvette gives you exotic-level performance for significantly less money than a Ferrari or McLaren, but that does not mean it's cheap to own. Tires? Expensive. Insurance? Potentially shocking depending on your age and driving record. Maintenance? Higher than most buyers expect from a Chevrolet badge. And if something breaks outside warranty, labor costs alone can hurt. One thing many first-time Corvette buyers underestimate is consumables. This car burns through rear tires much faster than regular sports cars if you enjoy the power even occasionally. Then there's the attention factor. People touch the car, photograph it, park too close to it, challenge you at stoplights. Some owners love that attention, others get tired of it quickly. And honestly, if you're buying the Corvette as your only car, these things matter more than horsepower figures. Interior quality, better than before, but still not perfect. The cabin is one of the most controversial parts of the Corvette. Some people climb inside and think, wow, Chevrolet finally figured it out. Others immediately notice where GM still cuts corners. The good news is, the interior feels far more premium than older Corvettes. Materials are better, the digital displays look modern, the seats are supportive, and the driver-focused cockpit genuinely feels special. But there are still small details that remind you this isn't a six-figure European luxury car. Some switchgear still feels average, storage space is awkward, the infotainment system is good but not class-leading, and depending on trim level, certain interior combinations age better than others. What surprised me most is that the Corvette actually feels more comfortable on long drives than many people expect. Road trips? Surprisingly doable. The ride quality? Better than older generations by a mile, but the cabin can still feel tight, especially for taller drivers. And by the way, if you enjoy honest car reviews that talk about real ownership instead of just reading spec sheets, hit subscribe, because there are a lot of vehicles that look amazing online but feel completely different after 6 months of ownership. Reliability and long-term confidence. Now let's talk about the question every smart buyer eventually asks: can you actually trust this car long-term? The good news is, the Corvette's V8 platform has generally proven to be far more reliable than many exotic alternatives. That matters, because a lot of buyers are considering this car specifically because they want supercar performance without supercar nightmares. And overall, Chevrolet has done a respectable job here. But reliability doesn't just mean engine durability. It also means electronics, sensors, suspension components, cooling systems, and build consistency. Some owners report minor rattles, others mention infotainment glitches. A few complain about fit and finish inconsistencies depending on production timing. None of these issues necessarily make the Corvette unreliable, but they do matter when you're spending serious money. And here's another thing most reviews don't mention: dealership experience varies wildly. Some Chevrolet dealerships treat Corvette buyers like premium customers. Others still feel like you're buying a basic crossover. That ownership experience can completely change how satisfied you feel with the car. Who should buy the 2026 Corvette? So, who is this car actually for? The Corvette makes the most sense for buyers who want exotic performance without entering true exotic car pricing. If you've always wanted something dramatic, emotional, fast, and exciting, this car absolutely delivers. It's also surprisingly good for highway cruising and weekend trips. And compared to many European performance cars, long-term ownership anxiety is lower. But this car is not for everyone. If you want subtlety, easy parking, quiet, attention-free driving, or maximum practicality, the Corvette can become exhausting over time. And honestly, some buyers would probably be happier in something less extreme: a higher-end sports sedan, a grand touring coupe, even a performance SUV, because the Corvette constantly reminds you that it's a sports car. Every driveway, every speed bump, every crowded parking lot, every gas station conversation. The biggest thing buyers need to understand. The biggest thing buyers need to understand about the 2026 Corvette is this: this car is an experience first and transportation second. That's why some owners adore it, and it's also why some quietly trade it in within a year. Because the Corvette demands compromise, it demands attention, it demands patience in daily use, but in return, it gives you something very few modern vehicles still deliver: genuine excitement every time you start it. And honestly, that emotional factor matters more than numbers on a spec sheet, especially now that so many cars feel isolated, quiet, and digitally numb. The Corvette still feels alive. So at the end of the day, should you buy the 2026 Chevrolet Corvette? If you want one of the best performance bargains in America today, absolutely, but only if you fully understand the ownership experience that comes with it. This isn't just a fast Chevrolet anymore, it's basically America's answer to the everyday supercar. And for the right buyer, that makes it incredibly special. But if you're expecting comfort, practicality, invisibility, and low operating costs, there's a good chance the honeymoon phase wears off faster than expected. And that's exactly why test driving this car for more than 15 minutes is so important. Because the real question isn't whether the Corvette is impressive, the real question is whether you actually want to live with it every day. And speaking of cars that look incredible on paper but tell a completely different story in real ownership, you need to watch the next video on the screen right now, because that vehicle surprised me even more than the Corvette did.